Good morning, retail traders. This is the Sneaky Snake trading strategy where I'm going to go through my watch list for this coming week and tell you what I'm expecting in the market and show you a couple good trades maybe throughout the process that we did last week that I just can't refuse but to talk about, and maybe find some good ones this week that we can take a bounce off. But I think we're at some resistance levels and we do need to have a little bit of pullback this coming week to respect the run that we've had. And I'm going to get right to it. Sneaky Snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. So we're going to go straight to the ones that's going to tell me what kind of market we're going to have. And one of them is the SPX. Now we called this trade out beautifully off the 21 with these three black crows. And then we had an inside harmony with a shooting with a hammer, which is almost looked like a dragonfly butterfly. And then we went ahead and had that bounce off the 9 EMA and almost back up here to the resistance that I called on this inverse, on this head and shoulders. So we hit a head and shoulders on the weekly time frame, and that resistance was right around, come close to 52.5307. So what we lost in 3 weeks, we made right back up more or less, probably less. If we hold the 9 this week, we're still in the game. If not, we'll run back down here and touch this 21. Now I'm going to show you something here. On the daily time frame. That, or should I show it to you on the weekly? Yeah, I'm going to show it to you on the weekly. So we had the good run up here. We had a good run, real good run. Then we had a pullback. We had a bigger run. We had a bigger run. So does that mean we're going to have a bigger pullback? That's kind of struck me, can we duplicate what we did here? Can we duplicate what we did here? Can we duplicate what we did here? Each run was smaller, and so was the flag. And we had the bigger run, and it had a bigger pullback. We had a bigger run, and are we going to have the bigger pullback? So I'm thinking we're going to have a bull flag set up here this week, maybe a couple weeks, and have the breakout. So there's your bull flag. There's your other bull flag. So we got two bull flags coming in the scene, each one led by three black crows. Three black crows. Three black crows. And that's the same thing with the SPY. SPY has the same kind of setup. Same exact chart. We have an expansion pattern here off the 200 SMA. Two black crows. Three black crows. Three black crows. So we put our bull flags in. And could we have the same scenario, is my question. Allowing that red line to be your pivot point in the chart. If it hold the 9, we're good. But we can hit that pull back and start doing that 1, 2, 3 bit. 1, 2, 3, boom. Dip below there and create a little head and shoulders, and then we had a nice breakout. So maybe a pullback, a run up, and then another big pullback, and then boom to the upside. So I'm looking at this SPY and the SPX that way. Mara had earnings last week and pulled back strongly. Had a real nice pullback, so I'm looking for this 1, 2, 3 down here at the bottom, right around 1650. Mara, Apple, another great trade. There's a great Fibonacci setup on the Apple. We pulled back and hit that 63 from the bottom up to the top, 38.2 from the top down. and bounced up, and then now we're sitting at that 182 area. So it's on watch. Well, I like to see it pull back to a double bottom, hold this support level, or hit the 50, and then run up. AMD, we've got a bull flag here. We could be hitting some kind of support level right around 149, 150, and run it back up and hit that shoulder line. GME was a great trade last week. It's been in the market. We've got a bull flag set up right now. I think we can probably take this trade off the 63 EMA this week on the 1 hour time frame. This is a bull flag. And it runs right into that 50 and that 63 on the 1 hour. So that could be your 1, 2, 3, boom, and break that head and shoulders and run it up to a double top where that tweezer was, GME, and then break that. There's a lot of people watching it. Shop pulled back hard. I think, what I say on this one here. Let's go to the yearly. Right around 55 bucks. We got a gap right in here, so it could stop right there. I just now noticed that gap. It could stop right there and be a good long trade. Yep, I'd be looking at 57.70. Set your alert just a little bit above it. I think this is going to be a good trade this week. Shop. There's nothing. Earnings sucked. Google. What a trade this was Friday. I just got to talk about it. I just got to talk about this beautiful trade Friday. Oh, this was a Fibonacci setup. You want to learn how to catch a parabolic run? Watch this. I'm great at catching knives. I'm excellent. I ain't gonna lie. So let's go to the yearly daily. 3 black crows on Google after that big earnings beat, and then it ran on up, and now we've holding the 9 on the daily. Now on the, let me see if that was on the hour. 20-day 1 hour, yep, 20-day 1 hour. So you had this huge breakout on, huge, 150 all the way up to 181. Now they're going to consolidate. A parabolic run like this, they're going to consolidate. So I'm going to show you exactly how to take this trade. And you'll have a 99.9% chance of winning this trade. So I put my Fibonacci setup on it from the point of breakout all the way to the top. Now I say let this sucker pull back and land in this support channel. And a 50% pullback is a perfect entry if you pull back to it on a day trade or something. So I'm going to put a price line. I'm going to have 50% pullback. I'm going to go to the 1 minute. Bam! 50% pullback on the 1 minute, and it runs all the way up to that 36%. We got in this trade. Guy messaged me, get a knock on the door, and Jim, this thing's pulling back. And I said, what do you think about it? I said, man, let me check it out. This thing had a huge run, and I set up the Fibonacci's on it, and we pulled back right to that 200 SMA off that 50% breakout. And I said, take the trade. I said, I'm taking the trade. Because you had double confirmation of the 50% pullback on that parabolic run off the 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. You can't beat a setup like that. We jumped right in it, and it wasn't probably 2 minutes later, not even 2 minutes later. We had 3 white soldiers leading out of the gate. And boom, baby. I said, this is going higher. This is going to go higher because we let out with 3 white soldiers. And it wasn't a minute and a half. Not even that long. It happened so fast. is beautiful. So remember that. If you get anything out of this video, that's going to be a game changer alone. QQQ setting up here already. Look at the 1 hour. We're at the 63. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I don't really want to put you in harm's way. AMC, if you can count to 3, you can trade with me. And if you can count to 4, you just might make a little bit more. Now, this is the 3rd time that this thing's touched down here. It touched here on the wick, but I'm talking about the bodies. So we need to run this up to the sweet spot, and that right now that resistance is going to be right around 338 to get the 1, 2, 3 breakout on the sweet spot. I know what I'm talking about. I was a good ball player. We had the wick hit here. So just in case, I can say 1, 2, 3, you can trade with me. But I'll add this wick on here. Just to say the wick touched it. And I'll say 1, 2, 3, you can trade with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, you might make a little bit more. And then the thing will shoot up. It's a pump and dump. It's definitely a pump and dump. They're $4.7 billion in debt. They've gone woke. You know, the stock's worthless until they come out and get rid of Hollywood. Disney's another great trade. We had a big knife on this one here. Now, they're a woke machine also. This has been pumped by the fat cats. They just love this stock. Bob Iger, Bob Iger, Bob Iger. And Bob Iger, he doesn't mean nothing to me. So we had a 1, 2, 3 breakout. I called this out back here at 78 bucks. I said we got a 1, 2, 3, and if you can count to 4, you just might make a little bit more. 1, 2, 3 with engulfing candles. And then it came back for the 4th time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we decided to make a lot more. That's the way of the game, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom! Engulfing candles. The pump was on. Now it's pulled back. We got a huge gap in here. I mean, I don't want to see it come back down to under 100, but it can. I've got my next support at 101.94. We got to break resistance of 107.26 to get it on up. I think we can pull back to that 102 area and maybe even catch it at the $96 mark. But I'm going to be set to take this trade and go long again. They'll start pumping it again. You watch and see, especially CNBC, them cheats. WFC, double top breakout. We're definitely on fire in the banks. I'd keep a good eye on the watch list on the banks and trade them the way you like. Meta had a big knife on AI investment. Had a big knife on AI investment. Beautiful little pullback on Friday. I mean, this is a snake material right now, Meta. So you come in here and you get a nice little triangle, and then it decides to go ahead and pull on back and have the knife. Now, this is how you count to 3, man. So we got the knife. I'm an excellent knife catcher. I'm one of the best out there right now. Knife, breakout, pull back into an inverse head and shoulders. Creates a rising wedge with a head and shoulders. So we got inverse, and then we got a head and shoulders. We got the knife, breakout, pull back in the trade right there. Boom! To resistance, to a 1, 2, 3, and out of the trade. Simple as that. You know how to count to 3? You can trade with me. We got snake, breakout, pulled back into an inverse head and shoulders. You had all time to take it on that shoulder line. Then it squeezed. And then we had the breakout of the head and shoulders up to the 200 and out of the trade. Up to the 1, 2, 3 and out of the trade. So Meta is a tradable stock right now. It's invested in AI, which is going to be good further down the road. And I think it was just an investment trade for Meta to get in, to invest in that AI. So I'm excited about Meta right now. It'd be nice if this thing pulled back and hit the 200 and then bounce on up and come up and break the 1, 2, 3. Or it can just go ahead and run on up and break the 1, 2, 3. That's simple, man. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. I make it as easy as I can. As easy as I can. We got a big long knife. We got a symmetrical flag. That's all she wrote. Come back and hit that 460 and be a strong buy off the bottom of this trend line. So if you can count to 3, you can trade with me. If you can count to 4, you just might make a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Pull back off the trend line in the trade. In the trade. Lyft. Lyft had a nice little earnings. They were pumping this stock up. I still think it's a good one. Set the alert above the 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. Lyft. It's that simple. Make it easy. Donald. Gosh, that rally. 80,000 plus in New Jersey. I went to a rally that had 40,000. I thought I went insane. But 80,000? And then the TV viewership? And his speech was just wonderful. I mean, the guy's got it. He's still witty. I guarantee it. If Trump couldn't wipe his ass like Biden can't, he would resign. Biden won't. He's a puppet for Obama and Hillary. You got to be stupid if you don't believe that. I mean, pure stupid. Morgan Stanley, the Donald. If this thing hits the 200 SMA, I'd take the trade. 47 something. I'd wait for it to pull back before I'd want to take it, though. I mean, we do have a 1, 2, 3 breakout coming. Who knows? This thing could keep running on up, man. It could be parabolic and just run to 80, 90 bucks. A lot of people are behind the Donald. He's the people's president. He'll get us out of these wars. Think, liberals. I left your party because you warmongers. So somewhere down around 94 for Morgan Stanley. Now, Stephanie Link liked this stock and it ran up real nice. I'm not going to trade it because I think they're scum. Then we got Reddit off the 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. Right around 47.51 or a double top break at 57.55 if it decides to go ahead and run. Now, I called out Reddit too. I really liked this stock when it come out of earnings, and we did have the pullback. So it's got to create that pattern and squeeze. Or break that resistance, one or the other. So we got a symmetrical flag here. It comes back and hits that $50 mark and then run it back up, or it breaks the 1, 2, 3, and we're off to a double top breakout. SMCI, it's a daily trader. Man, I love this trade. It's overbought. It's way overbought. They tried to pump this sucker up. I'm so sick of CNBC. This stock 3 years ago was at 33 bucks, and it ran all the way to 12.29. You going to tell me that that's worth that? Hell no. I ain't trading. I ain't calling that out and saying we're going to go higher and we're going to 1,500. You know, this is way overbought. Way overbought. But as long as it respects the 21 and we're squeezing right now, you know, we could have another run to the upside to try to hit this gap. And that's going to be your resistance to break. It's going to be a hard resistance. 904.87. Hard resistance, and you know, and hold to 21 I think would be a strong buy. Still, it's way overbought. Way overbought. Way overbought. They were pumping this stock up, and I've never seen anything. So much greed. Now here's Boeing. Boeing again had some more problems last week, but God, the thing ran. This is another pump and dump by the fat cats. You know, they don't want their Boeing to go down. It's a piece of crap. It gone too woke. The CEO is going to resign. He's supposed to be a big top-notch CEO, and he's going to turn the company around, and he's going to do this, and then he resigns a week later. And he's supposed to be one of the best. Boeing won't do good. They've got too involved in the government and too involved in this woke crap. I'm surprised they ain't going to have trannies flying the planes here soon. I wouldn't doubt it one bit. So me, I'm very leery of Boeing, but you know, they're going to be pumping this stock. I think it can break the 9 and run to the 21. That or pull back and find. And we could be creating an inverse head and shoulders. So the 9 for now is going to be the resistance to break on the weekly time frame. And same thing, we got a squeeze going on. So this thing looks ready, like it does want to jump on the daily. We got the 9 crossing the 21 and finding resistance at the 50. So it's starting to squeeze. I'd keep a good eye on Boeing to scalp and day trade. UAL. Yeah, that woke. Every stock I've called woke, I've made money on. From Budweiser to Nike to Target to Boeing to Disney to Starbucks. We had 3 white soldiers on UAL, another earnings beat. Big time. It sold off because of Boeing. 3 white soldiers with a double top. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. UAL. Carvana. Here's one I shorted last week. I made some money on it and got out of the trade. Went up to about 7 something. 740. And I got out of the trade. It was a put. They come out with some false information about their financials. And I do believe that this stock can pull back a lot more. It had too big of a gap on false information. Plus the markup on them cars during the Obama, Hillary, puppet Biden regime. Used cars are up 30%. How's that going to help the poor? So it's had a pretty good Carvana. So we got to have the 9 hold, or we drop down here to the 98. Then you got Netflix. Netflix had a nice little breakout off earnings. I don't watch Netflix. I've never had Netflix. I haven't had HBO in years. I turned off my TV 4 years ago. I got sick of PC police. So, and they took it off the air. And Cops is the only thing I ever watched. So we got a head and shoulders up here. at 629, and we got a gap support at 606. So if it doesn't hold the 50 on the daily, we can drop down and maybe hit this 63, or just hold the 9 for right now on the weekly. That's right around 596. I don't know if I want to trade it. Now Lily's another pump that just drives me nuts. Put it on the weekly. I'll show you why it drives me nuts. This stock was at 193 3 years ago, and it ran all the way up to $800. A 400 and some percent increase. Nothing but a parabolic run all the way to the upside, bouncing off the 63. We got it. Oh, I'd say it's a bull flag. It's a weak bull flag, but it's a bull flag. So we could bounce off the 21 and then run it back up and keep it in the channel. We quite not had our 1, 2, 3 yet on the weekly, but if you count the wicks, we did, and I think I should count the wicks on the weekly time frame. So it's getting ready to do something, but I'd rather catch it off the 21 on the weekly. Goldman Sachs, oh my God. 3 white soldiers there. Three white soldiers. So 440 support, no brainer. Set your alert. See if it pulls back to that bottom soldier. 3 white soldiers, and it consolidates. 4 white soldiers, and we had a pullback. So let's see what pattern we can form after these here soldiers. I don't want to run this up too much higher. I think it needs to pull back and consolidate and respect. Same thing here, 3 white soldiers, pull back, double top. 3 white soldiers, pull back, double top, and then knife. Lulu hit my earnings. 4 black crows. We consolidated. I called this out on a double bottom here. See that double bottom? So we got to break the 200 on the weekly. This is Lulu. We got to break the 21 on the daily. 4 hour. We got to break the 63. 1 hour. We got to break the 200. So that's going to be our reliable resistance and support. Can be a double bottom on an inverse head and shoulders. Somewhere right around here for a strong buy at 349, a little below 349.65. At the mark, at below, and that's Lulu. Then we got the last one, Spotify, and I'm going to put cost on here. Spotify can come back and hit the 200 and see if it holds support at 290.76 and break resistance of the 50 SMA and run it up to a 1, 2, 3 exit idea. I try to make it as simple as I can. And we'll set an alert here on the bottom of this candle. All right, so that's it for the Sneaky Snake. These are my watch list that I'm using, and I kind of add and subtract to it. And I'm going to put cost on here. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? I know I put it on here. Huh. We got a double top on cost. So I think this thing can pull back and land off this. Oh yeah, this head and shoulder line. There's your shoulder line, you got a gap. Where did I see that? Where did I see that at? Oh, I guess there's no gap. I thought I saw a gap. Yeah, kinda a gap. Pre-market, but nah, we're not going to count it. So it's going to be right here off the 50 SMA on the 1 hour time frame. That's for Costco. $773.75. So that's $13 pullback. So that's a sneaky snake trading strategy. Things are a little overextended. I'm expecting this week to be a little bit harder week than last week. We had low volume last week, and it was a great week to be trading. So I'm going to show you a trade here at the end of the day that really made me very excited last week. Last Friday. We had big snake, and we had to break out, pull back into head and shoulders to the 200. And then right after that, we had another trade that came into the scene, and guy knocks on my door and says, "Jim, would you look at this trade?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll check it out." And we hit the 200, and we had this little snake. So I drew in the snake. I asked him, I said, "You know how to count to 4, don't you?" He said, "Yeah, I can count to 4. You know how to count to 3, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I can count to 3. So we had the snake. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, boom. It broke out and pulled back. Then we created what you call an expansion pattern. So we had the snake with the breakout, and we created the expansion pattern. And I noticed this here doji right here. I said, "Man, something's about to happen. Something's about to happen." This doji right here, this long leg shooting star from the upside, hangman or whatever you want to call it, a dragonfly doji. Dragonfly doji is really what it is. Where the heck is this? There we go. So we created the 1, 2, 3 scenario. We got the first top here. Beautiful trade. The secret I'm about to share with you, and we hit the 50 SMA. If you get a setup like this, I'm going to count that wick because that's such a powerful candle right there. So I'm getting a knock on the door, and I'd recognize the trade. And he said, he about here is where he told me. He said, Jim, are we forming us a wedge or a pattern out of the snake? Are we forming a snake? And I went ahead and drew it up for him. And I said, yeah, man, it looks like a good snake. It's got the expansion pattern that we're looking for. And we came up and we hit number 3. I said, you know how to count to 3? And he said, yeah, I can count to 3. Then you can trade with me. So we came back and hit that 3rd time. And I was in the trade. And I added on that 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I looked at the guy on YouTube and I said, hey, I'm live on YouTube. I said, you know how to count to 4? At that time we were down here. And I just added on. And then all of a sudden, we had these 3 white soldiers come into the scene to the 200. And I snapped that button. I sold half my position and then run it up. And we broke out. I said, this is an extension to this run. This is very bullish. 3 white soldiers inside of the expansion pattern. Man, this is going to be huge. You're going to double your money on this trade from hitting the 200 SMA. So I'm sitting here. I said, you know how to count to 3, don't you? He kind of looks at me and says, yeah, I told you before I could count to 3. I said, let's count to 3 real fast together right here. So we took that line, that price line, and we went from the body of that candle to the body of that candle to the body of that candle and sold the trade at a triple top. And then it came back down again. Came back down again. Bounced off the 200 and run right into the moon. And then here we are again after hours. This was a beautiful trade. Beautiful setup. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. If you can count to 4, you just might make a little bit more. And you get out of them resistance levels. A triple top, 1, 2, 3, get out of that trade. Take that profit. So that's it for the sneaky snake trading strategy. I wish you all a great day. This is Sunday morning. I'm getting ready to go out and do a few things. Yabba dabba do. Have a great day. Retail traders.